I've got 10 minutes, and you guys need coffee, so let me get started. As Steve said, I'm Jason Downie. I'm the CRO of Lotame. I've been at Lotame for 9 years. Recently took on the CRO job, but was a big part of building the data business at Lotame. Lotame is a leading provider of unstacked data and data tech solutions to marketers, brands, and agencies. So super thrilled to be here and to join in the discussion this morning about the customer experience and lots of other topics. So let's see. So I'm a dance dad. So speaking of customer experiences, this is my daughter Sabrina. Sabrina is a badass. She tours all over the Eastern Seaboard, competing in dance competitions. It's kind of her full-time job outside of school. About 20 hours a week, she's rehearsing or competing. And last year, she and her hip-hop team won the national championship in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina for their age group. So super excited about that. While I drive around with her and go to events, in the breaks and at the end of these events, we head out, and her favorite thing in the world is chicken nuggets, right? That's what she loves, and as a lot of kids do. And so she loves Chick-fil-A. I know this is a bipartisan group, so I didn't pick it, she did, so you can blame her. But so we go to Chick-fil-A, and whenever we can find one, if there isn't one, she kind of goes down the list, and we make sure we get the chicken nuggets. So why that's important for us and for you, of course, as you think about this stuff on a daily basis, is who are those customers that are coming into your stores, and these kind of personal experiences are happening every single day. And it's not just based on like what somebody buys, but what they do and who they are and what they think about, and that's how you inform your creative and how you inform your offers and all the cool offers and things that I've heard about today. So this is happening all the time in your restaurants, right? Friends catching up, coworkers grabbing lunch, etc. So at Lotame, we're starting to think about for QSRs how to solve the data gap between kind of the data that you have that's direct with your consumers, whether it be an app or your website or an offer that you are able to collect some data on a customer, the gap between that and kind of the rest of the data, right? The rest of the data in the world. So you guys all have kind of a slim view of your customers. We like to say, I mean, it's really important and it's gold, and all the things that you do to expand that are super important. Those efforts need to continue. But if you have 2 or 3 or 5 million direct connections with your consumer, what do you do about the rest of the country, right, or the world if you're thinking about it globally? So that kind of data capture and understanding, that trend is continuing. Speaking of trends, I wanted to talk about a few as it relates to your particular industry. At Lotame, we've been around 13 years, and we have a lot of publisher clients, we have a lot of marketer clients, and so when we go to market, we say, Lotame is good for marketers because of X, Y, Z. What we're trying to do now is become expert as a vendor and as a partner in your particular space. So I've spent the last several months with our team just digging into QSR in particular to help kind of understand like what you're worried about. And this conference, of course, helps us a lot to try to think like you think and to worry about the things that you worry about. So some trends. I know Jorge spoke earlier about who knew the Whopper Detour. I was one of them who raised my hand. So obviously we saw that campaign and thought it was pretty great. And there was another one that he didn't mention in his presentation, which is this play on the Joker, where Burger King said that clowns can be annoying, and so in the Bronx they had the Joker stairs where Joaquin Phoenix had gone down those stairs. They put the king there and said, basically if you come by this area, there's certain things that we can offer you. This is location data, right? So he's talking about being within 600 feet of a restaurant. That data comes from somewhere, right? It's a vendor that geofences the country. Lotame has access to all that data worldwide as well as nationwide with regards to kind of everybody, not just your customers, not people who just have your app or people you've communicated with, but also just kind of all the vendors that provide that data. So having that location data is really important as you think about your LTOs and think about your about how you are going to speak to your customers. And as Fernando said, was, you know, all the things that Jorge just showed you, there's literally tens and hundreds of ideas that come out. How do you keep that fresh? How do you keep thinking of new things to do, right? Well, in order to do that, you have to have data, you have to have insight. Jane was just speaking right now about the Golden Knights and how they did night realities, and those kind of ideas are inspired, and they come from understanding the world and understanding reading articles and understanding the press and understanding what people are thinking about, what they're interested in, right? So if you knew that there were several million dance dads that were in the location that you were trying to target, what kind of message could you give to them, right? So that's kind of an idea that you have to keep pushing forward, and it's hard to do that. Another trend is partnerships. I'm sure you've seen this or things like it. Saucony and Duncan did a partnership in 2018 around the Boston Marathon. I was born and raised in Boston, so this is near and dear to my heart. And the marathon's a very important part of Boston culture. And they did a joint venture where they said, okay, Saucony has a shoe, and Duncan is going to sponsor that, and they put it together. It was so successful in 2018 that they did it again in 2019. If you think about how that partnership came about, how did you get creative there? There's some data there that says that Dunkin' customers are into athletics and into running and things like that. And Saucony says, oh, people are interested in coffee. And so how do you put those things together and think of something creative? So partnerships are, as I'm sure a lot of you know, are a big part of what's happening, and this is a way to kind of get at that. And then the third trend is the theme of today, which is fragmentation, right? We've been talking about that a lot. And how do you figure out how to, plan and spend your budgets on TV versus radio versus print versus digital versus social, all that kind of stuff. So informing that, collecting data and understanding how that data interacts across all those channels is really important in your decision making. So what Lotame is working on is creating a data set for you that helps you, whether it's you in-house or with your agency, look at a panoramic view of the customer across the entire country, across people that you don't touch, the unknowns, if you will, right? This is kind of like somebody gave me the analogy last week and said, it's like looking at your data and only the data that you have access to is kind of like saying that you like the outdoors, but you kind of just sit in your backyard, right? There's so much more out there that needs to be discovered in a usable way for you, not just kind of like all over the place. I saw earlier one of the concerns that one of you had written was there's so much data and there's so many platforms and they don't connect and they don't talk to each other. What we're trying to do is to bring that all together for you. We have 180 companies that give us data, and we have 50 channels that we send data out to. And in between, our data science team is refining that data and making it clean and usable for either yourselves or your agencies across all the verticals you can think of, all the interests, all the demographics, all that kind of stuff. So what you can do is find the right partners, extract the value, and get some tech, some data tech to help grow with you as we go forward in this. I could spend a couple hours talking about the cookies crumbling and all the other things that are happening, and we can certainly talk about that as we go through the next couple days. But all those issues are being combined together around the data that we're creating. Quick use case for you before I wrap up, and this is Chick-fil-A, no surprise. A solution is connecting data to location, TV data to location. So we have a bunch of people that have visited Chick-fil-A restaurants. We have a bunch of people who have seen ads on Wi-Fi connected TVs. And we're able to look at those two things together to help you create insights for media, as an example. Another example is taking those things, the viewers of the commercials, viewers of programs, and visitors to stores, and getting insights from that, the overlap of that data. What do those customers look like? And then using that data to create your messages, to send that out to search, display, CRM, social, all the channels that you need to be in, right? One other thing is that, again, the overlap in all the affinities, demographics, and interests of all those people, the unknowns. We have, for example, the visitors to Chick-fil-A 65% of those visitors are female with a high level of disposable income. And so on the right-hand side here, you see all the interests that those people have. A couple of big ones are Sony PlayStation. Maybe it's them, maybe it's their children, who knows? You have an interest in rolled gold pretzels, so maybe there's some LTOs you can do to kind of message those people with a pretzel bun or a coupon to buy an LTO for a coupon when people go to Target to buy a PlayStation, for example. So all those things are things you can think about, and the possibilities are endless if you have the right amount of the right data and lots of it. Finally, I'd just like to say that like I said, I only have 10 minutes, and you guys need coffee, so that's coming very soon. First-party data is a great start, of course, and I would never tell you that it's not. It's the gold. It's the things that you're thinking about every day and keeping you up. How do you grow that first-party data? But in addition, I would ask you to consider all the rest of the data and how partners can help you as you select your partners to look at that data, visualize it, and organize it, and put it all in one place that you can look at it. So in conclusion, I'd like to say get panoramic. We have a table right outside here. We're giving away a GoPro. I heard last evening that a couple of people were extremely interested in that. So throw your card in there, and we'll be giving it away, I think, later today. Thanks very much for your time, and I hope to talk to you soon.